Hey, what is up everyone? Welcome back to the Iron Diaper, your regular Gundam news show, and when I drop one of these, that means something Gundam has been announced, and this time it is some new Gunpla. Bandai has their regular hobby new item info kind of online event, which tells you about what will be coming up. And what time period they're talking about is this year from July to September. Now there has been some interesting announcements, some not so interesting announcements, and one fairly cool one. Well, maybe two fairly cool ones, depending on your perspective. As for the big announcements, we've got 3 new high-grade GQuuuuuuX kits, a Master Grade SD, a new Master Grade SD kit, and if you've been watching on here, you'll realize that they are now the king of Gunpla, the best kits, time and time again, always doing fantastically, and what we got announced was the Master Grade SD Aerial. Finally then, we did get another real grade Gundam announcement, and that is the real grade Wing Gundam Zero, so of course, that's probably going to be awesome too, unless Bandai reuses something. But before I actually get into the video proper, I will mention this channel is of course sponsored by HobbyLink Japan, so if you are looking to get these kits, they are up for pre-order right now. Now these were announced 7 or so hours ago, so they've been up for pre-order for quite some time, so you know, take it with a grain of salt or not whether your pre-order will actually go through. It is worth paying attention to. Try and get in there, but you know, no guarantees. But anyway, let's get right on into the news. So I'm just going to go through the non-Gunpla releases quickly. So we did get some 30-minute fantasy releases, so some more fantasy-styled mecha if that is what you love. So the next main kit that is coming out from 30-minute fantasies is the Wizard, so that is the Liber Wizard being the light colored one, and the Rosen Wizard being the darker, evil colored one. These both cost 2,200 yen and they're out in July. Of course, it would not be a 30-minute fantasy release without a couple of add-on kits. So the add-on kits this time around, first off are the Sorcerer add-on, so that is the Liber Sorcerer, looking like that in a kind of pale yellow, and then in a what seems to be a kind of purplish color is the Rosen Sorcerer. Jumping now from pointy witch hats to some cool looking hoods, the alternate version add-on kit right here is the 30-minute fantasy class up armor enchanter. So that is the Liber enchanter in white with a little bit of a cape, and the Rosen enchanter in that darker color, both of which looking nice and very similar to each other. All of the add-on kits cost 770 yen, which is about $5 a pop. And finally, and this really does align with a little bit of a theory that I have, and that is this new option set. This is the item shop 4. So we get some torches, some lanterns, and look at that right there and that pose. This goes right on back to that first thumbnail I did for these particular kits. I know where they're going, and you probably do too. They made 30-minute missions, which eventually became 30-minute missions Armored Core. So if they're going to do 30-minute fantasy, it has to go Souls, and that is a Souls reference. Gimme my 30-minute fantasy Artorias. So this right here costs 880 yen, so it's the upper side of $5, a little bit closer to 6, and an awesome little set. As well as the 30-minute fantasy, we did get some brand new 30-minute missions announcements too, one of which has me very excited, but we do have some cool ones too. First off, we do have a brand new 30-minute missions core mecha suit. This right here is the Igorite, or Iglite. So there is the first one. This is the white version, really harkening back to the start of the line because this does have an upgraded Portanova kind of feel. I do feel like, well, first off, you may or may not know, but every single 30-minute missions design so far has kind of just been a retooling of a Gundam design. The Portanovas right at the beginning being like gyms, we've had different variants. This I feel is our first 00 inspired design, especially when it comes to the prototypes like Gundam Estrella. A very nice design with some interesting gimmicks, the forearm attachment being very 00 as well, and this kit does come in 2 different colors, this being the darker kind of green-brown version, or should I say green on darker green, and it does have a little bit of a different helmet, but still same kind of vibe. Both of these kits right here are coming out in July for the white one, September for the green one, and both of which cost 1,320 yen, which is just shy of $9 or euro, so always a great steal with these fantastic kits. And when one of these, or should I say 2 of these gets announced, there is always an add-on too, and this is giving major prototype 00 flair. This has so much Estrella going on. This is cool. They know exactly what we want when it comes to mecha kits. So these are just some add-on parts that kind of give a little bit of the Avalanche style vibe with a little bit of a proto GN blade like section towards the front. Again, great prototype 00 vibes out of this. So 1,210 yen coming out in July, and this costs around $8. But when it does come to 30-minute missions, the most exciting kits right now are always the Armored Core 6 kits. So this is our next release. At an absolute huge jump in price compared to what we just saw, this costs 5,280 yen and is out in September. So that is in and around the $35 zone. This, of course, is the Arquebus ADD VE40A, also known as V2 Snails Open Fate. Now this is one heavy-duty, awesome-looking mech. A big change from what we would have seen. Definitely some Gundam Dom energy going on and some nice new weapons to boot. Now when you do see the big all-effect part that comes on the melee weapon, this is looking a little bit more like the $35 price tag. Probably isn't really all that bad. That is definitely a little bit of cope, honestly. But yeah, it looks like a big kit with some big weapons, and it's going to be awesome. Finally, there is the weapon spread. So like I said, $35, and this is out in September. Also coming out in September is a new weapon set. Now this is definitely very familiar. It's basically Rusty's weapon set, which we would have seen already on the first kit to come out, which was the Steel Haze. A very nice set. It does seem like we do get 2 rifles, which is always very, very cool. And once again, this is out in September of this year at 1,650 yen, which is just under $11. So finally, before we actually blast on to the Gunpla, there is some more non-Gundam related model kits announced by Bandai, which we'll blast through. First off, the next high-grade Macross kit has been announced. That is from Macross Delta, and that is the Hayate Use Siegfried. An absolutely gorgeous design. And, well, first off, I will mention when it does come to these kits, one of the biggest issues is color separation of these smaller parts. Usually it does mean there's a lot of stickers or something like that to make up for the very colorful and detailed design. However, as part of the announcement, Bandai did show this right here, which is almost like a real grade style runner where everything has been molded onto one. So 2 shades of color that is both blue and white molded onto these parts. So you can see down there on the right hand side that these are already color separated out of box, which will get rid of the need for stickers. That does include those nice pinstripes too. This is an awesome step forward, but as for if it reflects in the price or not, this does cost a fairly hefty 5,500 yen. So fairly similar to what we saw with that 30-minute missions Open Fate, this will be around the $36 or $37 zone. However, there is no denying it does look spectacular. That one will be coming out sooner rather than later, in July. Also, one of my favorite aspects about these particular kits, on the same day of release, they do release the water slides too. Now, the water slides do have a lot of the colors of the red detail on them, so it seems like out of box it will not be fully color accurate yet again. And this right here, I think, is something very, 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 very cool, and something I want to see more of by Bandai. There is also a different variation of it, which is a little bit of a set, including an acrylic stand. That is definitely a pretty cool addition. There's also a tiny little figure as well, but of course this right here is not the pilot Hayate, which may or may not be a little bit of a disappointment to you. I'd prefer personally the pilot of the mech. On top of that, we've got a whole bunch of announced Pokepla. This one, and this one. I honestly haven't a clue what any of them are called. Lastly then, we do have 2 more announcements. That is the Hyuga from Space Battleship Yamato Rebel 3199 and another Digimon kit, which is the Kaiser Greymon. Alright, so now finally moving on to the announced Gunpla. So I'm just going to go in order of, well, hey, what the heck? What's on the screen? First off, and this might just be my favorite announcement out of the bunch, we are getting the high-grade Zaku from GQuuuuuuX, the one that did feature in the first trailer. Now this right here is the military police Zaku, which is such a cool idea. It actually looks like it is armored up with tactical armor, which really gives it a cool feel. It's a navy blue Zaku, and overall it is quite interesting. Now this is actually out in April, so not the time frame that we were actually given. So that is very, very soon. It costs 2,200 yen, which is not bad. That is $14 or so. As for what this apparently comes with, we've got a set of weapons, 1 hand part, some stickers in here for the markings, the mono eye is movable, and apparently the shoulder blocks move independently for dynamic posing. Overall, this is an absolutely beautiful Zaku. It's been changed around so much, but at the same time has the Zaku aspects we love with some new interesting aspects. Like it's got the police siren lights up top and a dick vernier. There it is around back, sporting a lot of verniers, which really give it a real, I don't know, deliberateness to its design. It just looks like it's ready to leap forward. honestly, I am blown away by how nice this design is. On top of that, we do have loads of cool markings, the police one for the upper thigh, some numbering for up on the shoulder, that really cool shield section that we would have seen in the trailer too. I am hoping that some water slides do come out for this around the time it's being released, because these will be stickers in box, but still, overall this just looks incredible. What can I say? I love Zaku's, but this one looks special. Anyway, there's what it comes with. We've got 3 hands, 2 standard holding, 1 is a nice widespread relaxed one. We've got a Heat Hawk and a Zaku machine gun. Looking classic, but at the same time, a little bit new. Once again, that's out in April at 2,200 yen. Next up, we've got the high-grade Red Gundam. This is coming out in May at 2,750 yen. It is a little bit more expensive, but we do get those massive funnel aspects in here. But still, at $18, that is not bad at all. Overall, very similar in some regards to the actual GQuuuuuuX we've seen already, but at the same time, very, very different. A little bit more traditional Gundam, and a little bit Eva-esque, and rocking some cool equipment. There it is around back. Again, I love the use of verniers in these designs. They're up on the shoulders in those big funnel aspects. The technical detail on this looks phenomenal. Again, we don't know what is actually color separated or not, because what we saw in the GQuuuuuX did lack a lot of color separation, especially aspects like the back of the hands there. Overall, looking dynamic, looking incredibly cool. Super posable, as we also saw with the GQuuuuuX. And there are the weapons, so you can kind of see where that little, well, the couple of hundred extra yen come from. We've got a variant of the Gundam Hammer looking phenomenal, 2 beam sabers, those big funnel sections, beam rifle, shield, alternate hand, and a bit of an adapter. This is one packed set. Overall, super impressed. Again, out in May. So the next announcement we have here, and this looks so cool, I'm super getting into these designs. This is the high-grade K Cannon. This is coming out in July at 2,200 yen, which is just under $15. Now, just in case you don't know what the kanji K means, it means light, as in, well, if you take a regular car, it looks like this, or a regular truck, actually. Let's say a regular truck. In Japan, they've got K trucks, which look like this. They're small, so it means like small cannon or light cannon. So are we going to see a heavy one? I hope so. Anyway, there is what we get. This color scheme looks so good. It's laid out perfectly. It's definitely giving color-wise a little bit of Eva Unit 2. Again, we don't know how the actual color scheme is going to work out in the actual kit when it comes to actual molded detail, but overall, fantastic. Similar design aspects to everything we've seen so far. Not too many verniers, so I assume this is going to spend more time on the ground. Huge cannon around back, beam saber up there, beam rifle, and overall, this is so cool. Digging the head design, definitely. What a cool design. This right here really is one hell of a take on the old school gun cannon, and I am definitely digging it. As for the equipment, it is just the beam rifle as well as a beam saber. However, it is nice to see the fact that we do actually have 2 widespread alternate hands in here, which is always a nice touch. Again, the K cannon is out in July. I was curious and they answered, so yes, we will be getting water slide decals for the Gundam kits, it seems, on release. So they're going to cost 550 yen, which is only about $2 or $3. They are out in September, and it seems like it's for at least the shield there, but it might be, yeah, it says decals for the Red Gundam and other models are included. There are also 2 of these announced, so there will be a second set of water slide decals, including the ones for on your GQuuuuuuX. So if you've, well, held off on sticking the stickers on because you weren't too happy with them, just like I did, your patience will be rewarded. Again, 550 yen, out in September. As for the non-mecha releases, we're also going to be seeing some figurized standards of the main characters. So we do have, she comes with a Haro with the hat. It seems like there are 2 variants, or you can build it in 2 different ways. Yeah, essentially that's everything in there, so you can build it 2 ways. Bandai trying to sell you 2 of this kit. There is also one of these figurized kits coming out of Nyan as well. Also comes with an alternate outfit inside of the box, so it does mean you may have to buy 2 if you do want to display both costumes. And both of these cost around $27. So Machu is coming out in June, and Nyan is coming out in July. Action Base 7s in clear color with some included stickers for displaying your kits on. So of course you've got Nyan, Shuji Ito, Machu, and of course Char Aznable. Again, this is kind of a weird little kind of dodgy thing by Bandai, so you do get 2 stands, but there are 4 stickers in it. So you're kind of left over with 2 stickers, which may end up making you buy more stands. But I assume they're a little more pricey than standard stands, so you could probably just get a set of plain stands and this set and make all 4 stands. Anyway, that's what they'll look like with the model kits on them. Feel free to use them with your GQuuuuuuX. A pack of these right here will cost you just around $10, and they are out in May. So now moving away from the GQuuuuuuX stuff, we do have a couple of non-GQuuuuuX things. First off, we are getting a re-release of a Gundam Build Divers set, which is the Option Set Gunpla 17 Binder Gun. This has been released before, it's out in July and costs about $450. Next up, and I'm definitely digging just how much love Zeta Gundam and Double Zeta are getting from the high-grade UC line lately. We have another release, which is the high-grade 1/44th scale Gallus J. This is coming out in August at a price point of about $17. There aren't too many images of this released so far. This is the first one. It does look absolutely beautiful. Based on the last few kits we saw from this line, I assume it's going to look pretty much picture perfect to what we're seeing right here. There's an image from the back, again looking very, very nice and very Double Zeta. It is on the asymmetrical side with two different hands. There's the lineup when it does come to the weaponry. It's got one very unique beam rifle right there. We do have some swappable parts which look like pistons, missiles, as well as an alternate holding hand part for the left arm. Again, not too much information per se so far, but overall looking awesome, and it's always great to get some nice Gundam Zeta or Double Zeta flair. So now moving into the last couple of announcements, and these are definitely the big ones. The first one is the next Master Grade, and no, not that kind of Master Grade. It's the Master Grade SD Gundam Aerial. This is coming out in August and costs around $28. Now, just in case you don't know too much about this line, there are 3 of them out so far. The 4th is on the way, which is this, and so far every single one of them has been a masterpiece and perfect. So when it does come to the kind of blurb about this, it says the Gundam Aerial is now available from Master Grade SD, a new high-end SD line brand with Master Grade technology. The internal frame combines metallic silver parts and multiple molding colors to achieve a high-density model. The front armor moves upwards, ensuring a range of motion for the legs with multiple joints. The kneeling movement is accompanied by sliding movement of the armor. The eye cameras use clear and silver parts to create a mechanical multi-layered structure like we've seen from the line so far. It also does say here that both colors of the shell units are included, so both red and blue, and that they can be changed out. Apparently the hands have new joints to improve the holding of the weapons, and the escutcheon in here does everything the escutcheon does. It can be a shield, it can break apart into staves, and of course it can be used to create the bit-on form as well. So yeah, overall looking ridiculous. It is nice to actually see Aerial's inner frame for the first time, even if it is a little bit on the small side, but overall looking great. Again, this is coming out this August. And the last announcement here is the real grade Wing Gundam Zero. So this is coming out in September at 4,620 yen, which is just slightly above $30, so pretty much $30. Now, I haven't really read much about this. I'm experiencing this for the first time right now, so I don't know if they're using old Wing real grade parts or not. They've kind of made me a little bit nervous when it comes to real grade after the Akatsuki. But anyway, as for the blurb, what it says here is partly there's some new gimmicks included in this particular model that are unique to this model only. Mainly being the joints of the wing binders. Apparently we've got a 5-axis movable point. So it does mean they can move at 5 different aspects or joints, so that's interesting. Apparently there is an interlocking gimmick inside of it, so it seems like when you open up the wings or move the wings, the verniers will pop out on their own, which kind of sounds a little bit similar to what we've seen in some variants of the Tallgeese. This does have the full transformation to the Neo Bird form. There is a vernier inside of the shoulder. We do have deployable machine cannons on the chest section, which apparently can be opened and closed. It says that the hip joint has a 2-swing axis, so it means both the legs can actually swing down from the hip section independently from each other, which does not sound like the older wing frame to me. When you bend the knee armor will move in conjunction with the actual bend, which is very nice. Twin Buster Rifle can be combined and separated, so you can have it as 2 separate busters or the double buster. And we do have an extending retracting barrel, which apparently is an original real grade gimmick. Same goes for the shield. Apparently there are some new wings on the shield. There's a gimmick in them that is brand new to the real grade, as well as a bit of an extending nose. Apparently we also have a bit of a locking mechanism somewhere in the handle of the Buster Rifle, which means it will hold on better to the actual Gundam when it is being held in twin buster mode, so it doesn't get too unwieldy for it. Overall, looking pretty cool. The details look great, and as far as I can see from this, it seems like it is a brand new mold, not Akatsukiing us whatsoever. But anyway, that is it for all of the announcements. I think I got pretty much everything. How about you? What are you the most excited about? What of what we just saw today is definitely going on your shopping list? For me, of course, it has to be, well, pretty much everything. But I think out of everything, I might be the most excited about this absolutely amazing looking high-grade GQuuuuuuX kits. I'm shocked. The GQuuuuuuX itself was amazing. These looks like they're going to be following right in its footsteps. Even though there is a Master Grade SD and a real grade coming out, I'm still a little bit more excited about those. Anyway, let me know down there in the comments, what are you the most excited about? Anyway, as always, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to come back for more Gunpla news and reviews, and I'll see you next time. Once again, I kind of finished this video right here without special thanks to the channel members and the patrons over on Patreon, including Simon Paskin, Abraxas, Caleb Engelhart, Joe, RG59061, Shadow Wolf 179, Van Fawn, and Scotty Thomas.